If you guys need any help finding any of your information, just let me know. We will get started on the next step in a minute.
What? I'm totally confused.
Yeah. From the beginning, do you need help, or are you at a certain part that you want?
I'm not sure what I'm doing. What is so?
Oh, for some reason, are you brand new to this? For some
Yeah,
reason, typically
yeah.
I know, but you look familiar. For some reason, I thought we had talked.
I'm in the mastermind on Fridays. That's how I know you.
Okay. All right. I'm so sorry about that. So, there is, I'll give you,
Preliminary classes.
yeah. So this is, we can get you right on track. Hold on. I will put a link in the chat that I was just about to put in, and for some reason I didn't put it in yet. So I have these little things that guide you right through what you're doing. And so that's really helpful. But then also, I will put in the chat where you get your chart first, and that is the most important step. So that'll help you.
So
I should
be doing this before I come to class.
No,
it sounds
that's
like.
what. No, that's what the first 10 minutes give time for. I have it all set up so that if people are brand new, they can flow in. I just, for some reason, thought that you had been to this before, like a while back. So I recognized you and my brain placed you there. So otherwise I would have already said something. I'm so sorry.
No, that's
But
right.
This is totally fine to be your first thing.
Am I clicking on this link? It says Alicia.
Oh, yep, Alicia put it in there. So you're good. That's the link where you go get your chart to start. And then in just a second, I will have the other thing that's going to give you a little bit more information and hold your hand a little bit. So if you need to reference it while we're doing stuff, oh, you already put it there. Alicia, I was making a one for each different sphere. So I was just going to go find that one. I just copied it.
So am I clicking on?
Sorry, yes, Molly, the top link. You're good. You're good. The top link there that says for your chart. Click on that.
Yeah, but is it teach me more or meet the oracle? That's what I have on my screen.
Oh yeah, scroll down just a little bit. And then the chart calculator is right there.
Okay, human design calculator. So fill in all this?
Yep.
Okay.
And then when you're done that, let me know and I can help you do the next steps.
Well, I feel bad if I'm holding everybody up.
No, this is the time I set aside for contemplation anyway. So it's really just looking and finding your lines, and it gives people a little bit to settle in and built into the system. So don't worry about it.
Okay.
Yeah, I came in a few minutes late as well, Valerie. So I'm still orienting to the task. So we're just finding like the top part that's circled here, the 53.5 on our chart.
Shit.
Yep. Yep. So that's called the radiance, and I am. There is a link in there to the second one, and that is it kind of holds your hand, and it's like a little flip book sort of thing that walks you through the pieces here that you need. That one is last week's, so it talks about last week's sphere, but I'm about to stick in there the one that talks about this week's sphere as well.
That's true. So Molly, what do I do next? I'm on this page that did the chart.
Okay. So if you see the circled thing on the screen, that little spot where there's a number on the left-hand side, that has a circle around the thing on the top, you find the number with the decimal point that matches that, and you stick it in the chat. And then you can go over to the, if you need to kind of move around, you can. But you go over to the,
Are you saying the side that's pink?
Yep.
I'm looking
That
at
top number.
Okay, the top number. So I'm looking
Mhm.
at 31.4. What if you don't see the number?
I can check on the back end and help you. So let me do that.
Okay, yeah, I don't see the number.
I have all sorts of fail proofs, so you're good. Okay. So, all right. Found the chart, and we have your number is 31.4.
Right.
So what we're going to do here is we can put that in the chat, and then we can go over and I'll help you look. And we look for the number 31. The number after the decimal point, you'll understand in a minute. But 31 has 3 different levels. And so they all have 3 different levels: the shadow, the gift, and the city. And so then the 3 words that we're kind of contemplating right now for you would be arrogance, leadership, and humility. So each one has these 3 different bands. And so I can put that in the chat for you too.
So where is the chat on this?
Okay. Yeah, there's apparently too many learning curves. I'm going to be switching over to a different software that's less heavy. I started using it, but okay. So there is, I just put yours in there, Valerie. And so that is on the left-hand side, there's a toolbar. And you're going to see there's a little thing that says chat. Do you see that?
I don't, because this platform is taking up all the space. I don't know. Like, do I click and find something?
Do you see where the mic and the video part are?
I don't have that on the screen. I might have zoomed out too much. Maybe.
Okay. Well, I can do this then. Can you see the board that's in front of you that has like the graphics and stuff on it?
With the numbers?
Yep, the screen in front of you, you can see that stuff. Because I can paste it there so that you can see yours, if that's helpful.
I'm at your mercy. I have no idea what I'm doing. So
yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what you can see so that I can make sure you can see what you need.
Well, evidently I have zoomed out this page too much, perhaps.
Do you see icons? So if you go all the way to the left
I'm
side,
afraid to do anything because I'll blow it up.
do you see icons
I
on the
think that might be
far?
the issue, is I have zoomed out too much because I was trying to see the numbers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So why don't you see if you can zoom out again? Are you on a laptop or a desktop?
Laptop.
Okay, so you just want to, do you know how to zoom in and out with that?
I used to.
Okay, so it's like the pinching kind of thing where you pinch out versus pinch in.
Maybe if I do the window, minimize? No. Nope, that didn't work. Let's see. I don't know how to.
Okay. So we have a couple other people in here that are new, so I'm just going to get them caught up a little bit real quick.
Okay.
For those of you that are new, in the chat, there is a link to get your chart that Alicia has put in there. If you don't see that, then let me know and we can put it back in and help you find it if you need to. So the first step is going to be to go get your chart. And then after that, the next step is to find in that purple chart there, to find the 3 different words that represent the number that's circled on the top left of your chart. And then put them in the chat. If anybody needs help with that, just say the word and I'll help you. You can either to unmute, you can either go and find the toolbar on the side and click the unmute button, or you can press, I believe it's M.
Which words it is that we're looking for? You said on the top left?
On the top left of the chart, and if you need me to help you, I can go in the back end if it's in my software and sneak and find it. But yeah, the one on the number on the top left. So it's going to be a number
Oh,
with a decimal point and then another number.
gotcha. Okay.
Okay. And then what I'm going to do is, if you guys need any extra help, I am putting in the chat right now a little guide that is going to give you really the core basics that you're going to need to understand this. So if you get lost, you can kind of check that out. Okay, so all right, so I just put that in there and I'm going to pin it. So let's see. Just checking and seeing where everybody's at. Oh, you're okay, Christine. We're just getting everybody caught up so that they have their charts and they know what sphere we're talking about still. Once everybody is feeling comfortable and ready, what we're going to do is we're going to go, when you have those 3 words, right, those 3 frequency bands, like for example, for this sphere, mine is line, or sorry, not line, gate 1. Let me just make that bigger. And so my 3 words are entropy, freshness, and beauty. So for this, it's really just thinking about these 3 words that represent the number that you have in that place of your chart. And so we're talking today about the radiance. That's what this sphere is called. So when it comes to our radiance, this is how we really are basically like in our, it's like we're in the zone. Like this is when we're at our best self. What is the thing, the way of being that really makes us show up and shine and feel amazing and attract other people and really puts us in a position to be our best selves in life, right? And so when we find these three words, it's just sit for a minute and really think about like, oh, sometimes it's like for me, when I saw freshness, I was like, that makes so much sense because I tend to be like, okay, something new, and then I do it, and then something new, and then I keep moving, and then something new. I don't really, I'm not super nostalgic. I don't look at much at the past. Unless I'm gathering information to apply to something new, right? And so that's why freshness hit me so hard. I was like, oh, wow, amazing. Like, that's totally a thing for me. And it was kind of this permission slip to continue um, not being somebody I'm not, and to continue leaning into that. So, whatever those three words are for you, just really sit with that and think for a couple more minutes. I'm actually going to give us 5 more minutes to do this. Actually, I'll give us 3 minutes to do this and I'll make sure that everybody's caught up. So if you need help, make sure you let me know now. And then we're just going to do some quick breakout rooms where we just kind of contemplate with someone else in a smaller group before we come back and we talk again as a bigger group. So again, if anybody needs help, just let me know and I can help you find it. The first step is going to be to really look at that, to go and make your chart, because I can't help you if you haven't done that. So I'm going to pin that. My dog wants to be part of this, apparently. Let's see. Going to pin the chart maker. Oh, it's already pinned. Alicia's so on top of everything all the time. And again, I have that guide pinned as well, the help guide in the comments. So you can open that up if you need it, and it'll help you find any gaps in your knowledge. So while you contemplate that, feel free. And again, during this last 2 minutes, let me know if you need any help. What's up, Christine?
So looking at this, so you have it's the red circle design, and it's you're looking at, so yours is 53.5, and then you're looking at the last number 5 over here. Is that right, in the blue chart?
So it's your radiance. So let me just double check. Yeah, so you're going and finding they're the gene key frequency band lines. So that is the shadow, the gift, and the city over in that like purpley blue chart. Yeah.
Okay, and mine at the top says 29.4 in the little red box. So
Yep.
would I look at line 4?
Nope, you'd look at 29. So that is half-heartedness into commitment into devotion. Yep.
Oh, sorry. So half-heartedness. Well, I can't read it. I'm sorry.
Commitment. And then devotion. And you guys should be able to zoom in and out. And if you can't, let me know and I can help you still, okay?
Okay. Oh, yeah, I can zoom in and out. God, thank you.
Molly, can I just verify mine?
Yeah.
Okay, so my number under design is 5.3. So that means I would come over here to 3.
You would go to 5. So the first number is the one that we're looking at. And the number is going to be between 1 and 64. That second number is between 1 and 6, and that really flavors it. And so we can talk, we're going to talk a little bit more about that after the breakout room, but for now, just look at that first number.
Okay, so 5 then. So
Yep.
I would be impatience,
Mm-hmm.
patience,
Yep.
timelessness.
You got it.
Okay.
All right. Does everybody have their, just so goofy. Does everybody have their line, or sorry, not their lines. Does everybody have their number and their 3 different words before we do a breakout room? Make sure, oh, somebody else coming in. So if you don't have your number and your 3 words that go with it, raise your hand and I'll make sure you get it. Okay. All right. So what do we got here? Anybody has their hand up? Yes or no? Okay. So, all right. Just making sure. Okay, we're good. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go into the breakout room. And so we're really just going to talk about the 3 different words. We're going to share the time with the person or people that we're in the room with. And there is going to be a thing where you can raise your hand if you need help. And one of us will come and make sure that you have help figuring out whatever it is that's going on. So let's see. All right. And my talk. All right, off we go.
emotions wheel.
Thank you.
All right, guys,
Yeah.
welcome back. If anybody has anything that they gleaned from that breakout room session, feel free to share. And then we're going to step into talking about, I'm going to briefly share something about the lines with you. And it's really about talking about how we experiment with this and bring it into our actual lives. So does anybody have anything they want to share real quick before we hop in? No? Okay. So what, Joe?
Christine opened her mouth and then did.
She looked like she wanted to share something.
Oh, I was just gonna say it was kind of cool because we were kind of I was with Valerie and so we're both green at this and so I was using chat GPT to help guide us and it was really cool because it really helped me understand her different categories and my different categories. And just before we were going to go out of it, because being a recruiter, I'm like, well, let's find out about our gift and how we can best apply it to what we're doing. I was going to ask Chat GPT, and then we got pulled out. So yeah, it was kind of cool. It was kind of fun going in that direction.
Awesome. Were you using regular Chat GPT or were you using the GPT that I made?
I've got a book. So I had to reset all of my stinking settings and now I'm on DuckDuckGo. And so now I got to get your, can you put it in the chat so I can put in my bookmarks and statement? That'd be great.
Yeah, you're
I've
good.
been having a lot of computer things.
Yeah, that's totally fine. It happens. So for those of you that don't know, I made a specialized GPT version of Chat GPT that is fully dedicated to human design. And it is right in the chat. It actually, people really love to use it for all sorts of weird things, especially for writing copy for various marketing stuff. So it's pretty cool. You can upload your chart PDF in there and everything, and it'll help you understand it and all sorts of cool stuff. So yeah, awesome. So glad you brought that up, Christine. So line 3 is really, so I paced this event around these 6 lines, right? And so at first we were doing contemplation, which is what the first line is all about. It's about introspective contemplation. Thanks, Mindy. And then the second line is about connecting in one-on-one dynamics. And so that was what the breakout rooms were for. And then the third line is all about experimentation. It's about figuring out what works and trying new things and throwing spaghetti at the wall. So wherever you have line 3 is about that. And so I just think this is the perfect place to explain something. Human design is called the Great Experiment, right? And we also incorporate something called the gene keys, and that's where those 3 words that are the frequency band come from. And it's really, it takes human design and it's a spin-off of it that's really good to apply practically in a different way. Because when you have those 3 words, it really helps you ground what each of those numbers mean in an energy that you can feel in your body when you have those moments. So let's say, like me, you have the gift of freshness with Gene Key 1, like I was talking about before. Or actually, let me go in and see what people put in the chat, and I can use some of those as examples. Let's look at Natalie's. So the shadow of immaturity into expansion into superabundance. So this one is, they all have like a best friend, right? It's called a programming partner. And so I'll refer to those sometimes to really think about it. And it helps really shape it. So, because you know how oftentimes there will be 2 best friends and one's an extrovert and one's an introvert, right? But they both together have a very similar frequency, a very similar vibe, and they complement each other really well. Or like a blonde and a brunette or whatever. It's a whole thing. And so, so looking at this with 53, it's best buddy programming partners 54. And so 54 is super ambitious. And so that one is all about going from greed into aspiration into ascension, but it's like the most ambitious of all of them. And so taking that over into 53, right? So immaturity into expansion into superabundance, it's a very akin kind of thing, right? And so let's say that you're experimenting in the world about stepping from immaturity into expansion to be in your radiance, to be your best self. Oftentimes, when it comes to something like immaturity and the separation of that storyline into expansion is, Regan, please don't. Very nice. My 14-year-old has decided to make pasta right now for some reason. So that's what's going on with that. But we have tons of boxes of pasta, by the way, so completely unnecessary. So I guess I assumed you were cooking it.
I
So,
assume he's going to share.
right. I'm not sure I want to, but but again, that's a perfect example of a line 3, because 1-3 over there, right? Experimentation. That seriously is the perfect example of experimentation. This is what it's like constantly. So going from that immaturity into expansion is about, like, sometimes with, like when we're also, another great segue, when we're like teenagers, especially, there are these things that we get lost in, right? Emotionally and just like all around, we kind of focus on the wrong things, and then we get kind of stuck in it, and it can be like a cycle of drama, and it feels just like so important, but it keeps us small, right? And so really stepping out of that and saying, okay, here is what actually matters to me. And so I'm going to focus on that, and I'm just going to be open-minded and step into expanding instead of contracting by putting my attention in places that don't serve my best interest or anybody's best interest, really, right? Instead of trying to fix things and run in circles and put band-aids on everything, how can I actually just sit and grow, right? And that can apply anywhere in life. It's not just that direct thing. It's how do we take that storyline and apply it to anywhere where we feel like we're contracting and limiting ourselves in that way. And we can just let go, relax, and let things unfold a little bit. And so the whole thing about the experiment, right? Human design is called the experiment because these are just words. They're just words. But when you go into the world, right, and try to become the best version of you, especially when it comes to your radiance, because it, is really the foundation of your best self. How do we figure out what that even means, right? Because a lot of you guys are probably like, what the hell is any of this, right? So it's like taking those words, trying to figure out how they feel in your body when you have them, and then recognize them. Sometimes you might have this aha moment where you're like, that's immaturity. That's what's happening right now. Okay, let me look back. What's the next one? Okay, expansion. Okay, now I think I kind of know how to try this, and just take a moment to let it like sink in, so that the more you do that, the more you're going to be like, oh, I know what this feeling in my body is. And it just becomes a subconscious behavior, like hopefully drinking enough water, or all the things that we do that become natural to us. Alexandra.
This is not my first rodeo with chart readings and stuff. And I just absolutely love this and tarot cards. And I was telling CI, I actually had my palms read at the farmer's market last weekend. And so I find this really fascinating and very helpful. And also it's just so many aha moments. Like I was going to say spooky, but not in a bad way. It's just, it's like,
Uncanny.
how'd you know that? Like, that's
Mhm.
that's a little freaky. But the only one that kind of caught me or mystified me was the city. When it's a city of something, and I'm the city of clarity. What does the city? Do I live in the city of? Where is the city portion of this?
I am so glad you asked that. So, I'll just go through those 3 really quick to really build up this understanding a little more cohesively. So, The shadow state is where right now most people are, right? And so that just because that's where the world is at, right? Like look at the news and it's crazy. That's the shadow state. Then those of us that have decided to slow down and be intentional, right? Like the people in this room, get into the gift state in at least part of their chart pretty quickly if they have any interest, right? The city is what I call the doorway to enlightenment, right? Because once you get to enlightenment, it's all the same thing. But and this is something that, you know, you might taste here and there. You might stand in the doorway of some of them. But most of us, it doesn't, the whole goal is not to reach it. It's just to notice when it's there and appreciate it and to understand it as a more of a story, right? Because let me see, yours was 57. I actually remember Alicia asking me to check that. So going from unease into intuition, right? It's that process of starting to believe yourself and stopping denying that part of you, right? And so when you get comfortable with your intuition, it gets stronger and stronger and stronger. And so when you're at a point where you make maybe not all your decisions, but you're just in this place where you might like just have these moments where everything being connected and the unfolding of all of it, and it just like you have these little sparks of like, oh, I know how all of this works. That makes sense. I have full clarity on like I have moments sometimes where it's like, especially like if you're into tarot and stuff like that, sometimes you have those moments where it clicks and you're like, huh, that's how it all works, right? And Maeve, you okay? Yeah. That's how it all works. And it's like a lot of times it's associated with just it's a very pleasant feeling underlying it, right? It's just like a very safe, very like there is a baseline of gratitude and authenticity and joy behind it. Um, so I hope that makes it a little bit of sense. Yes, a knowing, exactly. A knowing for sure. And it's that difference between believing and knowing, right? Because when we believe, it's a decision that we've made, whereas a knowing is just something that is. It's the difference between, you know, it's like fact.
Gotcha. No, that's fine. My video froze, but your teenager's acting up, and my 1.5-year-old service dog is acting up. So, and then I was telling CI, it's so funny because when you log in to Butler or whatever, the doorbell rings and the dog bell's ringing. I'm like, oh no, and it's been funny being on here, but I'm gonna mute. I've got something else happening right now. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So we talked about how to bring it into the experiment, right? A little bit. So now we're going to look at line 4, which is all about community and network. And so remember, anywhere that you have any of these lines, right? And so that is the same kind of theme. Different parts of the chart, it can be defined a little differently, but generally speaking, they're all these themes. CI.
I think after all this time, I need to ask a question, and finally, something's going to make sense to me. All right, when you start talking about line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever, are you talking about on the pink side, line 1 is the first number, line 2 is the second, below that, line 3? Or are you talking about all the lines that are in the middle of the chart?
So after the decimal, right? So at the top of your the two, so the one that we're talking about today, the radiance, for example, or any of these, since your chart is a 2-4, what you're going to see is either a 2 or a 4 in any of the spheres that we talk about in these. So let's say, I'm trying to remember what your chart is, CI. You have like 33 and 19 and 24 and 44, I
Yeah,
think.
but just point at line 1 and 2 for me, Joe. Where's line 1?
So they're not in
Where's,
order necessarily.
Oh, that's why my analytical mind can't figure this out.
Yeah. So, I think we kind of tried touching base on it once and you thought it made sense, but then it wasn't quite there yet. And that's totally fine. It's like crazy complex and it just kind of
Okay.
clicks sometimes, right?
Well, can I just say one piece here?
Sure.
So like the 3-5, see how I have all the 0.5s over here on this side and I got the 0.3s over here on this side, and then my profile is a 3-5 right there.
I see all the fives on. Oh, so
Yeah.
all the fives are on the left, or on the pink. All the threes are in the gold. Is that what you're saying?
Okay. So, thank you, Joe, because that's what I was trying to say and I did a bad job. I'm going to do one more thing to tell you about this. Okay. So, Joe, I'm going to get rid of that and show you something. So, let's see. I'm just going to open up the board again. So, I'm going to make a mediocre picture for you guys. Okay. But that's not what I was going to do at all. That's horrible. Okay. Should be shapes. Here we go. Okay. So this is the sky, right? And there's a bunch of different like lines that break this up. So like this, I'm not going to do it fully, but just enough to get a point, right? It's like a pizza. It just cuts up into pie slices. And there are 64 different slices. Obviously I'm not doing that many, but there's 64 different slices. And that represents, really tiny, that represents all 64 of the different numbers that are inside of the chart here that you were looking at in the shapes, right? There's 64 of these numbers. And so each one of them gets a little piece of the pie in the sky. If you've ever seen the picture of the astrological wheel, that is like just a big circle in the sky and all the different, it's like the zodiac, right? There's different constellations in the sky that represent different pieces, right? And so there's all these different pieces. And then within each of the 64 pieces, there are, let's say it's obviously a quarter of it, but let's say that's one of the 64 pieces. There are 6 different slices within each slice. And so wherever in the sky a certain planet was at a certain part of your chart, let's say your life's work, which is a different one that we're not doing today, but it's where your sun is. I think yours might be 33 CI. I could be very wrong. I think it's 33 though. And so out of each one of these 64, they each have 6 slices. So let's say this is, we were just talking about, I'll just do mine. So let's say this is gene key 1. Okay. Or gate 1, same thing. So as we go through each slice, this one is gene key 1, line 1. And then this one is gene key 1, line 2. And this one, so on and so forth through 6. So it's 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5, and 1.6, right? Because my radiant, so at the time that part was programmed, the sun was in the part of the sky, which happens to be in Scorpio, where it was where it was in line 4. So let's just say that this little weird circle here is the sun. Then
here being where?
Hold on. Do you see the pie chart thing that I was making for you?
I see the pie chart, but now I see the human design chart.
Oh. Do you see the pie chart now?
Now I see the pie chart.
Okay, cool. Sorry, I had to reset a little. So do you see how let's say that I know it's a 25% slice, but let's pretend that's just one of the 64 slices, right? So the whole thing has 64 pieces, and each of those 64 pieces has 6 slices. And so if we break it down, it's line through the lines, those 6 lines. And then the sun, for me, at that particular time, happened to be where it was designated line 4. Okay, so this just breaks it down even more. So it depends on the location in the sky, which gate or gene key of the 64 that it's in. And then within that, depending on where it is within that spot that's sectioned off for that gene key, it's just like a zoom in again, right? So it tells you where within that space, within that gene key it is. So it's just like a more specific, it's like latitude and longitude, but more exact, if that makes sense. Does that make sense yet?
I am trying.
Oh,
Based on what you said to me, again, putting it in my language, 384 different combinations in this.
Whatever 64 times 6 is, that's how many
Yeah.
combinations there are.
Yeah, 384.
Okay. Yes. So it's like instead of having, say you're putting your address, but it only needs like state and town. It's then you also have the information for the street, right? It's more exact.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, Alicia, are you raising your hand about the top of the hour? Yeah, I saw that. Okay, so guys, it's the top of the hour. We will be here for another half hour. If you want to hang out, we can keep talking. Feel free. Otherwise, it was great to meet or see all of you. Oh, you have a comment for CI? Go ahead.
This makes it any different. It helped me when you explained the lines in a way that is how you experience being experimenters, and then
Hear you for a little.
Do what?
I could. There was a gap where it didn't pick up your mic.
Weird. Okay, can you hear me now? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it helped when you explained how it flavors the gene key. So you were kind of talking about it like the 3 is the experimenter. They have to, and Joe says this, you have to like keep touching the hot stove until you realize that it's hot. And then for 6, we're kind of like the teachers of everything, or so for me that helped. I don't know if that would help CI.
Yeah. CI, what are your thoughts?
I think where I'm having, so I'm going to have to do some study on my own, is I need to have, imagine like my background, that of in the military being a pilot. To know where I'm going, I got to have a starting point, and I don't know my starting point on this.
So here's what I'm going to do, because this is a question that comes up, right? I'm going to make, Alicia, could you help me remember to do this? I don't know. I'm going to make a actual visual that is way better than this little weird pie chart that actually gives you context to the actual thing, right? So I'll make some sort of visual that walks you through it in a way that is way more intuitive than I can do with the current stuff, right? That actually shows it. Do you think that would be better?
Natalie has something. She doesn't know how to raise her hand. She's raising her hand, but she doesn't know how to hit the button.
No, she did. I just haven't gotten to it yet.
Oh,
Natalie, is this something that's, I'm guessing your zealousness is, yeah.
No, absolutely, absolutely. So I found the most effective starting place for me because it's such a beautiful complexity, the whole chart, and each combination of numbers and different arrangements means something completely different. So, what I was instructed to do, that chat option for the guru, that if you'll click on that, and if you'll cut and paste your gene chart, um, just go ahead and copy the web address from where your gene card is, and you cut and paste it into that chat, and you say, "Tell it all about me," or "Tell me who I am," or and it will go through and kind of break things down by domain, so you have a better understanding of everything that we're kind of talking about. And then when Molly or Alicia, they mention a specific phrase like your city, you can literally type into the chat, "Tell me about my city," or "What's my city? What's my radiance? Tell me about my shadows." That's where I've kind of started it. So I'm kind of navigating it. Um, yeah, the good old power of AI.
Awesome. Thanks, Natalie. That's a good reminder for that. Christine.
What might help too, CI, is Molly's human design chat GPT. That is by far super. I mean, I was using regular because I had to go to DuckDuckGo. And anyway, I'll save everyone the information on that. But going to that and just plugging in, your number, this is that, how does it apply to business for me? It's mind blowing. And so for me, just learning kind of my own, I guess, areas, putting it into chat GPT, which is really super clear about it. And then I could go another layer, but before I go any other layers, I have to understand the first one.
Well,
it's complex. It's deep. It's very deep.
Yeah, and it's fractal. That's the whole thing, is it's fractal. So it's like continuously zooming in, right? And CI, if I mean, we can keep talking about it too. I just, whenever you get to a point where you feel like you're like, okay, I need to let that simmer for a minute. Since we are going to connect tomorrow, we can always revisit whenever, but we have time to talk about it longer still. I don't mean that you have to stop now. I just was letting you know that if you have more questions tomorrow, I can help you with that too.
Okay. Well, yeah, and I probably need to spend more time on it to because Molly's deal was very, very helpful for me. I did insert into on Molly's link. So I did that and I read that. And I guess what I'm trying to do is navigate something that's not navigatable, if that makes sense. So maybe what I'm trying to do is figure out the puzzle from the wrong angle.
Okay. Well, I have one more thought to help. And I think maybe it is definitely what you were saying in part. Sometimes we're trying to grasp at something that isn't the thing. And since it doesn't make sense with the thing that we think we're trying to grasp, we can't pick up on the new thing, right?
Yeah.
But so you know how there's 360 degrees, right? In a circle. And so in the sky, when you're looking up, there's 360 degrees around us, right? So, and there's like what, 384 or whatever options.
Yes.
So think about it this way. Each of those 64 numbers, and like let's say, it's 33, line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4, line 5, and line 6. Each one of those things with one line is not quite a degree point, right? Because it's 360 divided by 384. So it's not quite a degree point, and that is it's part of the sky. And so that's how it decides, like the positions are based on planetary bodies, right? So wherever what part of the sky out of that 360 degrees that at the moment you were born that was in, that's how that number came to be.
Got it.
Okay. Cool.
I got that. And now I'm looking at my little Star Trek vessel flying. You giving me a mental image that I can grasp. I'm flying through the sky. But as I'm flying through the sky at warp speed, I'm intercepting all these different numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Correct? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, as I'm intercepting all these different numbers, what I'm trying to figure out is how are they blending together?
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? Like, I understand a point, like a point and a vector. I'm right here, right now. I understand that.
Okay.
But as I go through, and this is how this is working with this, that's where I think I'm running into the challenge. But that example that you just gave me cleared it up crystal clear. You gave me something that I knew something about,
Mm-hmm.
which is a 360-degree circle, and you implanted in there 384, which is a fraction that's a point something. So bingo, you turned on my analytical mind. So now I can see all those points. You're laughing at me, Joe. Quit laughing at me. But now I can see all those little analytical points in the sky. And what I'm trying to figure out is I'm going through them. So anyway, I've taken up enough time. I'll be quiet, but
now this is a great question.
You gave me an aha moment.
So I can also share it a little bit.
Boom.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you
now
see
you
this,
see that makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So,
but to me
see,
though, whereas everybody else it may not. So I don't know. So if I go over to Leo, boom.
Mm-hmm.
Let me shut up. Go ahead, Molly.
No, you're good. I was just going to say these are the pie slices that I was talking about. And if you look here, there's these above each number. There's like this little strip that has 6 different rectangles cut into it, right? And so those each represent lines 1 through 6. So that's what it is. And I know they're not in order. I know. I wish I could make them be in order, but they're not. So they're kind of all over the place. But that's how it works. This is mine. So that's where like all my energies are like in the same place. So my chart's weird, but typically they're pretty scattered around. So hope that's helpful.
So if you go over to a 2-4, which would be down here to the right, correct or no?
Okay. So here's how that works. So I'm a 2-4, like you know, right? But where my lines are versus where yours are going to be different because we have that gets into something else. So that gets into something else that maybe let this unless you feel like really strong grasp and a really strong pull to learn about the next thing, it goes into something that is we would have to zoom back out, more macrocosm before we zoom back in. So I mean we can go on that adventure if you guys want to.
No, too much personal attention. I'm cool for today.
All right. Alicia, did you have your hand up again? I couldn't remember if I put it down.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think and I know, yeah, you're like, I'm done with the attention, but
I know, no.
Like when you were saying, like,
it's not that I'm done with it. It was just too much. I didn't want to hog the room. It was too much personal attention.
No, you're asking good questions.
Yeah.
For me, like, you're like, how do I go through all 64? But now with this information, I think of yourself as laying on the ground looking at the sky as if that was pictured in the sky. And then there are different planets and different nodes and things. That's where they hit in those lines and numbers. Does that make more sense?
Okay.
No,
I'm going to show
where the constellations.
That picture makes sense to me. Okay. That picture makes sense to me. The 360, when we went there, it made sense to me. Now, now I'm just trying to interpret what it's telling me.
Sure.
So now the picture makes sense,
Yeah.
but I'm
So
not.
think of like just a plain picture. At that snapshot in time, the tree in that picture was on your left. You were sitting in the middle because you're the focus of it. And then there's a barn off to the right. So that picture is a snapshot in time of what was going on in the sky when you were born and then when you received your first download.
Okay. I have another way. So this is actually really cool. So well, I don't know, CI, if you've heard me talk about how each one has like a best friend, right? So they're called programming partners. And that's because they sit exactly across from each other. So I'm going to show you how we get to those numbers. Remember how Joe showed
I lost everyone. Everyone went dark on me.
Well, you went dark for a second, but you're back.
Now I can hear you, but I can't see you, but I can hear you. And I can't see anyone.
Do you want actually, could you hear me, CI, right now? I can't remember what you said. I didn't sort.
I can hear you. I just can't see you nor anyone else.
Try to refresh the page.
Yeah, I think we rebooted or something. Here we go.
Okay. Okay. Can you see us now?
And I can hear you.
Great. Okay. So, I'm gonna let me pull this board back up and I'll actually screenshot this. This one's mine, by the way. I'm saying this because Natalie wanted to see this image, but oops. But I do this with client charts and stuff too. So it's a pretty cool tool. I have like a crazy amount of charts.
See, here's the bottom line, Molly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna just get to the bottom line. Imagine that you go to a magic show in Las Vegas, and everyone gets the thrill of David Copperfield or whomever it is in the show, but you don't get it. And so you keep saying, I want to get the show. I'm trying to get the show. And everyone's saying, didn't you see when he did this? And he did that, da, 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 but you're not getting it. And so when I hear people say, man, once I understood my human design, it just made my life easier. I was able to attract. And I'm going, okay, man, I want to see the show, but I'm not getting it.
So
you get the point? And that's why you see this. Oh, it's not a good anxiety is not a good word. I don't know what word to use. It's like I'm trying to get it, but I'm not getting it.
Yeah. So there's two things about this, about human design. Okay. There's two types of people that use it to, for self-awareness and whatever. There's one group of people that just want people to interpret it for them and give them the information, or the way they teach it, and it drives me nuts, is that they teach it so that they interpret it for somebody else, right? They don't give them the how-to, they don't tell them how to, they don't empower them to learn the stuff that I'm teaching, right? And you're somebody that could not, like, you'd be annoyed if somebody tried to just give you the information, showed you the chart, and then you look at it and you're like, but why? Right? I'm the same way. I'm the same way. I think it might be 2-4, but I think it's also just, because I saw Christine laugh. That's another reason why I thought it might be 2-4. But so I'm going to show you how we got to, how we're 2-4s. Well, I'm going to show you what I mean by that. And that will help me show you how we arrived at the numbers the way we did, like you were asking. Okay. So this is my weird chart. And let's see, a circle, make a circle around the top two on both sides. Okay. Let me make that
Oh shit.
thicker somehow.
You took all this time before you told me this. I just
What?
looked over and understood, okay, the top two numbers on each chart, boom, boom, the second number after the decimal point. That's it.
Yeah.
2,
That's what.
4.
Yeah. So that's what we were trying to tell you earlier. But Joe used his chart and I explained it horribly. And so when you saw Joe's and it was 3-5, you were like, oh, but like when you saw mine being 2-4, you're a 2-4. So it clicked different, right? So here's what else about that. Like they're in reverse, which is weird,
And so
right? So it's
instead of going
4-2.
from left to right, it's going right to left.
Yeah, because okay, so it's so tiny. Okay. All right. So this first line here is, I don't know if that's even spelled right because it's tiny. There we go. I think that's good. Okay. So there is obviously these are going to be flip-flopped because it's dumb and they're on what I perceive as the wrong annoying side. Like any esoteric system, they like, this is why like spiritual entrepreneurs suck at techie stuff and marketing, because they UX and intuitive, like in the spiritual realm maybe, but when it comes to like making things easy to follow, it's like they can't ground it. And part of that has to do with the fact that forever it was like an elitist thing, right? Like only the people that we decide to have access to it can have access to it. So to protect it, we're going to make it super confusing. And then it became like a pretentious thing. So I mean, like, I don't know anybody who's ever met like like, especially like, what there's some philosophy majors that are fine, like obviously, but if you've ever met somebody who has a degree in philosophy, the way that they speak, right, that pretentious arrogance, that's what the spiritual languages and systems tend to be set up like, right? It's not super helpful. So that's why it's backwards. But I'm going to show you. Okay, so this. Oh, that's not right. Okay. So we have when you're born, right? This black side here is the. Let me make arrows. Okay. So this is the conscious side. So your conscious mind, the mind that you can just access at will, right? That thinking part of your awake mind is the conscious mind. And so the black side, that is the those are the different numbers and stuff that represent that part of you. And that is a line 2, right? So that's on the top, which I get. And then we have the unconscious side, which is the line 4. And that is on the bottom line. So that's why they're crisscrossed, I guess. But yeah, so the reason that it's these top 4, those are the top 4 together make about 70% of the personality and energy that you have, right? So that's most of your energy. This unconscious side here, the red side, is, and this might mess with your brain a little bit, but I'm going to say it in this way, okay? So we have 2 algorithm downloads that make up who we are. 1 represents that conscious side on the black. That's when you're born. You're physically born into the world, right? Like astrology would be the same way. Now there's a second one, and it has to do with 88 degree points of the sun before you were born. And that is whatever is there is the red side that represents your subconscious mind. And that is roughly when your prefrontal cortex forms. And there's a lot of nuances there that we won't get into as to why it's 88 degrees, because that would be a rabbit hole we'd never get out of. But basically, it's when your first download of who you are comes from quantum physics stuff, again, that I could explain, but would be a rabbit hole that will never end. And I'm okay with that, but I think it would just get more confusing to do it all at once. So to take this, right? That's why on your chart, the PDF that you have, there is a birth date and design date, because 1 represents your conscious birth time and day, and then the calculations make up the other side of your chart. So zooming in here over to this, you're going to see, so let me find the, where am I? Okay, yeah, so actually the very first one that is in the chart, right? I don't know why the quadrants are like that. That doesn't, oh yeah, because it works weird. I'm not going to explain that. What, Maeve? Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it's a nice foot. She's really into the bug bites that she has. She says the bugs nom nom. I'm yummy. It's pretty cute. But yeah, so basically, so I'm gonna put a little shape here that oh, that's not what I meant to grab. Okay, so for me, my the sun when I was physically born into the world was in this location right here, 13. So since we are at the center of this
Okay,
chart,
where's
not the sun,
this location? What is that?
do you see it? Did it move for you?
Okay,
Yeah.
now,
Do you see the mandala with the star?
yeah.
Okay, so the star, that 13, that is my conscious sun or life's work. So that's where the sun was when I was physically born in the world.
Now, where's that at on the chart? Where's that number 13 on the chart? Connect that dot real quick for me.
Mm-hmm.
Bingo.
Do you see it? Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Great. That was a great addition. So I'm going to show you now where, do you see the 7 below it?
Yeah.
These two, 13 and 7, they're best friends. They're called programming partners. So whatever one does, the other one is likely to follow, just like kids, right? Which is why you don't want your kids hanging out with kids that get into trouble, because if their friends get into trouble, they're going to be making some bad choices, even if they're a good kid sometimes, right? So when you have these two together, if one is in the shadow, it's going to pull the other one into the shadow. But if one is in the gift level, it can help pull the other one up. And so if they work together, that's why sometimes if you're having a hard time figuring one out, if you take a break and you go to the other one, it still works, right? So that 7 there, we're going to go over here and find it. I'm going to show you. This will make it pretty clear. I'm going to make another star. So I'll make another one. Nope. There we go. Okay. Whoop. Oh my gosh. Okay, so it is exactly across the road. Well, I guess it's not doing what? Stop it. There we go. I did it. All right. So if you look, it's exactly across the street, right? So where the body graph chart is in here with all the shapes and stuff that represents, my energy and design, that is me standing there with the sky around us, right? And so in the middle, the reason that, and that means that the Earth, right? Technically, I'm on the Earth, obviously, but that the Earth that I'm on is here in 7. Okay. And then across the way directly is where the sun is. So, I mean, that's kind of a funky thing to like, I mean, the shape and logistics of that I know sounds strange, but that's kind of it, right? So it's not like the sun is in the middle here. On this one, it's like the Earth and the sun are across from each other and we're in between them, right? So, yeah, the programming partners are always directly across from each other on the mandala. So if we also look at my other ones, right? Go over here to the unconscious side, zooming out a little. We have 1 and 2, right? So when that other algorithm download I had, 88 degrees of the sun beforehand, when my prefrontal cortex got its special algorithm download, it was like this. Okay. So here's 1 over here. And then over here. Hi, Christine. Thanks for coming. It was good to see you. Okay. So right here.
Don't run, Molly. I'm listening. I'm listening. I'm listening.
You're good. You're good.
Okay. I'm listening. Okay.
I believe you. Yeah. So, I mean, you saw the pictures. They're always directly across from each other. And when you put all 4 of those together, it's something called your incarnation cross, because those are the 4 that represent the most energies when you were born. And together they put together your, what you're here to do. Right. So, mine's kind of funky, and I'll show you why when you get back if you want. But the Earth itself has 2 incarnation crosses, and they're both together in the G center in the middle of the chart, right? So in the middle of the chart here is this this center called the G center, and it basically is all about the core reason that we're here, the essence of all of the creation, right? It gives us the core foundation, what we need to exist in this reality, this plane of existence. And so it does so by having 2 different parts of these 4 numbers that work together. And so the Earth itself has 2 of these. One is called the Sphinx, which is what I have. And one is called the Vessel of Love, which actually, weirdly enough, my best friend has, one of my best friends who introduced me to human design has it. And so basically that's why if anybody's around me and they suddenly feel like they have this strong pull in a direction, that if they were like I tend to make people feel like they have a sense of direction if they felt a little lost before. When I'm, my best self anyway. Otherwise it can be the opposite, to be honest. But thankfully I am not in my early 20s anymore. That's a good thing. But that's because it's one of the Earth itself. It's one of its incarnation crosses. So that's all about purpose and direction. And this number 2 at the very bottom is something called the magnetic monopole, which sort of makes me think of, how birds, when they migrate, it's like they have a magnetic pull to bring them where they need to go when they need to go there. They don't need a map. They just have an internal GPS system. We have this as humans, right? And some of us have a stronger one than others. Some of us, like me, are one in a way, right? And so, but it's not about migrating in the sense of like birds flying south for the winter. It's about direction in this whole thing, right? Pulling towards the future, moving in the direction of our purpose, and what our piece of the puzzle is as far as all the people alive, right, have their own little piece of the puzzle that we're here to contribute based on our design and all the different numbers in our chart. And these 4 numbers are the ones that kind of determine what our purpose is here, what our main function is. And this right here, it actually is where that that's the algorithm download that we have when we're physically born. There's different physical locations in our body, where the two happen. One is here, that's the one that happens when your prefrontal cortex forms. And the second one is behind the sternum in something called the magnetic monopole. And that's what that number 2 represents. And so that's all about direction and orientation. And that's where that energy is. So yeah, and then we all have our little functions and jobs in the bigger scheme of things. And that kind of gives us it's like our, if HR was actually good at writing roles for people at work, right? Which, they tend to not be. That's what it would be. It would be these 4 numbers at the top together.
Okay.
When we're just starting this and really kind of getting to know our human design chart,
Mhm.
because I can go like CJ, CI, CJ,
CI.
CI. I can go like CI and gather tons of information, take tons of notes. I can get very analytical, but where are the first couple of places that we really get to go to have this be understandable and highly impactful? And then we can kind of go with a nuance thereafter, I'm thinking, right?
Yeah. So honestly, there are 3 things that if you learned these 3 things, you would be able to change your life and not learn anything else, right? I also say there's a 4th thing, but I'll get to that after, right? So there's your energy type, which is, I believe you're a projector, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
According to Joe was very thorough about that.
Yeah.
You're
Yep.
a projector.
Yeah. Yeah. He's fine. Well, he gets so excited because he is too.
Yeah.
And yeah, so 20% roughly of people are projectors. You wouldn't know because there's a lot of them in my circle because, I won't get into that. Sometimes I have to stop myself because I'll make it worse. But so 20% of people are projectors, and basically so there's 4 main energy types, and then there's 1 hybrid type. But basically there's 4 main energy types, and generator types like myself, or manifesting generator types like Christine that was in here a few minutes ago, which is the hybrid type, by the way. We are, as you can tell, we tend to go and go and go and go, right? Like we build and it's because we have a center called the sacral that's active in our charts. And that is the motor center that makes all the energy we all live off of, right? And so, like the chi, basically. So when we do that, as we've evolved over the last 400 years, about 400 years ago, especially, so 2027 is the next shift. The last shift about 400 years before that, projectors came into the picture because we went from 7-centered beings to 9-centered beings, which means we got more complex. Consciousness started expanding, right? So we needed guidance. Generators needed guidance. We had to outsource some energy to projectors so that we could, because there wasn't shoving anything else in. It wasn't going to happen. So instead, there was a new energy type that came around. And so you guys are here to guide, right? And so you tend to be more conditioned easily, right? More easily conditioned for sure. I mean, my chart is more open for a generator. It's not that normal for it to be so open, but all those shapes, there's 9 total, which is how we're the 9-centered being. Some people, like my daughter, has 8 out of 9 centers defined, right? So she's not being conditioned by anybody.
I finally figured it out, Molly.
What? What'd you figure out?
I finally figured it out. You are a professor. You said there were 3 things. I'm waiting
Oh,
for
you're
2.
right.
and you're just
Okay.
going over all the yin and the yang of the one.
As soon as you said I've got it, I was like, I'm lost again, aren't I? That's what generators do.
I'm going, okay, 1, 2, 3. Then explain 1, 2, 3.
Okay. Well, I just explained it too
Because I got
much.
the pen and the paper. I'm going, okay.
I liked it. I like to meander.
Well, I'll get
Expansion.
You're right.
Expansion, CI.
Right.
But you know, she is by foundation like a physicist, right?
I actually went to college originally for physics, so that
Yeah.
checks out. I just
So-
couldn't really help people.
So, physics is just not a problem. It's a problem related to 15 other problems. But all right, go ahead.
It's a fractal problem. So yeah, well, I'll just say projectors, what you're here to do is guide generators, because you guys have this magic thing that you do where the way that your aura works, which is, what the energy type means, is that it's piercing. So it's kind of like cone shaped, but it points outwards to people. And you guys, though, aren't designed to be the ones that build and build and build. You're here to guide and support and foster the growth of things, right? You're like the gardeners of energy types, right? And yeah, so then there's strategy and authority. Strategy is just an extension of the energy type, right? So all projectors have the strategy of, it's typically worded as wait for invitation, but I like to say look for recognition. Because waiting for invitation, you're going to find a lot of very passive projectors in human design, because the original system, like I rambled about earlier, was meant to be confusing, and therefore it accidentally, maybe on purpose, but doesn't matter, became disempowering. And so it's wait for invitation, but really it's about making sure that whoever you guide and work with has given you the invite first, because that's how you enter in the dynamic in a way that the energy and the circuitry of it all flows well. Because
I need that.
yeah, like I'll point this out sometimes with Joe because he gets really zealous, right? And so he always does this example in a way too. So like he will share information that other people weren't quite needing or asking for, right? And
I do that.
then I literally as a generator get a visceral response to him when he does that. I'm like, I need you to stop. Like, it makes me mad. So when you're uninvited or unrecognized, you're going to get a bad response. It's going to be not great for you either. So
When I geek out and go too far down the rabbit hole and I'm talking about what I want to talk about and share what I want to share with my nerdy science stuff, you can just see the shutters go down.
Well, it just shows who's going to be receptive to you, right? That's what it's for. It's for you to not waste your energy on people who don't appreciate it or aren't ready for you, right? And so that's the empowered version. That's why I say look for recognition, right? Because if somebody's looking to you, that's the second one. It's relevant. And then the third one.
I got it. It's like I got another meeting, but I can't miss this popcorn. What's number 3?
I gotta know number 3.
I can say this quick. All right. The third one is called your authority. And there are 7 different options. As a projector, you have more options than anybody else. But basically, that is the way that you make decisions, right? When you have something attracted to you, when you have an invitation or recognition brought to you by your strategy, right? I believe this works out. You're both emotional, aren't you? Isn't that your authority type, emotional?
Autoritat.
Where do I?
Yeah, I don't know why it says Russian that way. I can check yours in just a second. Oh, splenic.
Mine's very, very splenic. I'm super high intuition. High.
Okay.
Yeah. I have clients say to me, like, "Are you psychic? How the hell did you know that?
That's 57
I've never even talked to you about that person.
Yeah.
How did you know that?" Yeah, it's really good. It's cool.
So just because CI's got a buzz, I want to make sure he just hears the emotional really quick, and then I'm going to say the splenic. So emotional, that's what I have and what Joe has too. I'm going to explain emotional just really fast for you.
Yours.
So basically, You make decisions by writing out your emotional wave. That's what I do too. I can double check. There's different emotional waves depending on what channels you have there. But regardless of how your emotional wave works, it's just about waiting for clarity. So you got to like ride the whole roller coaster before you know what the whole roller coaster feels like, right? So when you ride the emotional wave, it's like, okay, I right now I'm super excited about it, but later I might not be. Or right now it's a hard pass for me, but later I realize I wish I had done that. Right. So if you wait to make decisions while it soaks and simmers, right, with a line 2, that makes it easy. When you circle back to it, you know what decision is right for you. Um, and so there's also, depending on how your chart is set up, some people, like my kids, if you look at your definition, it'll tell you if you have a single definition, you make decisions quicker, you can ride your wave faster. If you have, like my kids, all 3 of them have triple splits, and it'll just say under definition. If you have triple
I have a
splits,
single. Yeah.
okay, cool. That means that it just, your energy circuitry is just one fell swoop. There's no breaks in the circuitry line, right? Triple splits have 3 different sections of their chart, and they're not all connected by channels. So they have to make decisions based on all of them agreeing when they're emotional. But CI, I think you're single, so you could ride that wave quicker. That's all.
It's on
I
your
went down a little
chart,
more.
CI. The
No,
paragraphs on the right, if you scroll down,
I
you
went
can
down
see
another
them.
rabbit hole, Natalie. That's the face.
I'm trying to guide you.
I
Trying to
just
like
ended
laser
up.
focus it.
I ended up having that bad angel say something in my ear, and it was like, aha, I got it. So and that's when the smile came, because it was like, okay, it's like, but I have a split definition. But
Right.
every time we're working on a project, you'll go, "What do you think, CI? What do you think?" And I go, "Oh, I got to soak it a little bit." And that's my authority of my emotion coming in, and that's my way of just going, "Oh, by the time we talk next time." And then when I arrive, just like when I arrived, but we couldn't have our meeting. When I arrive, I'm like, "Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, let's go,
Yeah, I would have
Molly."
been useless yesterday. You would have been like, what am I supposed to do with you? I was running on 3 hours of sleep, and I had about 2 brain cells to rub together. So
So,
you would have been frustrated.
and like when I arrived, it was like, okay, if you don't like the video, tell me, I'll do it over. But I had arrived that the video was a good idea. But you remember when you first mentioned it, I was like, well, let me see. All right, so now the one thing I'm going to ask you next time, not today, you said these top 4 make up 70%. I missed whatever that was, but
okay. Yeah.
I think you meant the 2 numbers on the left, 2 numbers on the right. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what it is. The top 2.
Okay, so
I think this is 1933, 24, 44,
24,
45.
24, 44, 33, okay. 19.
Yep. There you go.
And so,
how
long you been working with Natalie?
I just wanted to share her splenic stuff with her, but if you have to go, I want to make sure I answered stuff because I didn't get to her authority yet.
You didn't answer the question.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, I've only seen Molly 3 times now. Right? Yeah, we're very, very new. Very, very new.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll tell you my comment tomorrow. It's of why I said what it took all of this for me to finally get it, but I got it.
Remember, you have dual channels, so you got to let it percolate and marinate, and then it's all going to become clear.
Well, and all 3 of us have line 2 as our first line. It's our conscious line. So that's also a marinate percolate thing. I'm just planting a seed. Planting a seed, CI.
Yeah, so it did it worked. No,
he's trying to not say things. I feel like
that. I feel like he's holding back, Molly. I feel like you're holding back.
He totally is. CI and I we've gotten to know each other pretty well. We've known each other for over a year now, I think, right? So, we at this point got inside jokes. We
For
got
whichever
things.
way, for whichever way you want to look at it, my little devil angel said, "Well, it finally took two blondes for you to get it."
Listen, I'm technically a redhead. You just can't tell because of the angle of the lid.
Okay. Well, it was.
Oh,
It took.
Softened as I got older.
picture.
It took all of that for you to get it, buddy, and you finally. Well, I got a starting point.
Well,
You have a few starting points. You have a few constellations to work
Yeah.
with. Yeah.
well, and you got to get to a point where you are like, you also have all this other conditioning that has told you this is not how things work. And so when you got to like grasp concepts that you were never told existed in a way that you've never had to do, it takes a minute.
Well, it was just like when you showed me that pie chart, and then let's see, it's be 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. I can work till 6. I'm talking to myself now. That's analytical. But when you showed me that pie chart again, like the charts that they have you look at if you go see a shrink, the ink blocks. When you showed me
those, Natalie?
I do indeed. Those are some of the hardest clinical assessments.
Dr. Natalie.
So when you showed me that chart, the first thing that my mind tried to do was to figure out a systematic order of the numbers because they're not in any kind of order. And then when you do, and when
I
you
can show you at some point the order, but that would be a whole nother rabbit hole.
But it's not even like 1 over 5, 1 over 7, I went through them. It's
based on something called codon rings, and then there's a little bit more nuance to it. But we're not gonna. That's why I said like it's a whole other rabbit hole that then opens up how this has to do with our physical genetics.
But that doesn't have a pattern though. Still, if it was 1 every 9, I would know 1, 9, go 2, 1, 3. Anyway, but you said it's an odon pattern.
It is, but it also isn't. It drives me nuts. Yeah, codon rings. It's like basically it breaks down to a DNA genetic thing, and it gets a little crazy. So, I mean, we also got to not bite off things that make it worse harder to understand. I think.
I don't need to know that part.
I won't tell you.
So I will just listen for 9 minutes, and then I got to vote. I really do, because now I'm getting heebie-jeebies.
Yeah. All right, Natalie. So, splenic authority. What, maybe?
You called her what kind of authority?
Splenic. Hey, Finn, that's very cool. Can I have 5 more minutes, and then I would love to just hang out with you. Yeah.
Now, Molly, don't forget, I don't have children at home. So if you're gonna send me that invite, send it to me tonight. Because if you send it at 7 or 8 in the morning, I'm not going to see it till after coffee.
Okay, I'll do better. I'll send it to you right as I'm done this.
Okay, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. Here's my splenic.
So basically, the spleen is the center that keeps us. It's all about survival and our primal instincts, right? And so there's 7 different what's called gates off of it, and those are all those numbers. Then great, give me 5 minutes, please, okay? And then you can show me everything in as much detail as you want. So the spleen, when it comes to splenic authority, it means that you make decisions from that very primal instinct protection part of your body, right? And brain. An energy center.
What's up, little dude?
Maeve. Yeah, they just multiply, I swear. No. But so the spleen it's like the way it's been described to me is that it's like just and this is the same authority type that actually Alicia has, if that's helpful. But she says, and other people say, that it's like a knowing. It's just like it's not necessarily it's related to the body, but it's not necessarily even felt in the body fully. You just get like this isn't right. And typically, like, the first sense that you have with it is about, well, this doesn't feel safe, right? Or it doesn't feel right. And it's like you can't, like, the idea of making yourself do it is horrible, right? Because you're rejecting the whole premise right? Sure, that's fine, Finn. So, and some people, what happens after that is as you refine it and you practice listening to it, right? Because we all have conditioned responses versus authentic responses. And again, some of these terms that I'm saying are mine, like you're not going to be able to Google, unfortunately. I'm working on books. But um so uh when the difference is basically like seeing the results in the world, right? Like when you have and really fine tuning it, right? So sitting and listening with whether it's your emotional or your splenic, right? However it shows up for you, it's feeling, and emotional actually has less of a conditioning thing involved, to be completely honest, because it's a longer process. Splenic is an instant process, right? And so when it's a conditioned response where it's a nervous system based thing. So if you've had experiences, um, like so many, like especially women have, right? Like we have a weird experience with our nervous system and the physical world in a certain way. Um, and so it's like, okay, does this connect to my experiences? Is this my nervous system needing to be regulated? Or is this my intuition saying that's a bad choice, right? And then it grows and it strengthens like a muscle. And so over time, you'll be able to tell, oh, actually, that one looks like a really good choice. Like the idea of saying no to that in my body feels like the problem instead of it being, you can start to grow it and harness it and it like puts its feelers out there into the world, and you can start to feel and tune into different paths in a completely different way, right? But it's all instinctual, primal, survival based, right? And so that's why I love having Alicia working with her, is because she'll just be like, no. And I'll be like, okay, cool. I don't have to wait a week to decide. That'll be great. Um, so, and it's like really good to have as a generator, because we reckon like that guy, only manifestors and projectors have splenic, right? So only two of the energy types potentially could have splenic. And I think I've met maybe one. And then I think that one ended up giving me the wrong birth time and not ending up being a splenic manifester. So splenic projectors are going to be the ones that you meet, and it's still not even that common, but it's one of the main projector uh, authority types. So it's specifically typically to you guys. So as guides, having that ability to discern the world in that way is just really helpful for whoever you're working with and guiding, but for yourself, obviously, first and foremost, because you have to do it for you in order to do it for others, right? And that's, I think, the thing with projectors, that it's okay, how do I do this for me and really master it for myself? And then it's like such a great gift, to share.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's amazing. And when I'm working with clients, I can't tell you every single client that I work with, I'm talking with them not only about kind of the early human evolution as it pertains to nervous system development, flight, freeze, fawn,
Mhm.
all of the neurochemical reactions that we still have that are kind of like vestibular reactions
Right.
based on what early hominids had to have
Mhm.
that we just still have in modern day, which are
Mhm.
so disproportionate to what the situations are for us. But yeah, and I'm always talking about that's a survival mode. That's your protection mechanism. That's a defense. I can't.
Mhm.
It's on the tip of my tongue at any given
Yes.
moment. I mean, truly, truly, truly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, I use that. Our nervous system is really the keeper of everything, and it's like I, there's so many different ways that it can be impacted, right? And also, like when I was doing my hypnotherapy training, one of the things and it was a very particular model, of course, right? Because there's so many different options.
Sure.
One of the things is like there's this myth that not everybody can be hypnotized, right? But it's because some people have a high intellectual defense mechanism, right? And it's that nervous system, right? It's all about the nervous system. And then there are people like me, and I think Joe, oftentimes neurodivergent people have like to some degree, not all of them, but like tend to be something called somnambulists, which is like the parasympathetic nervous system doesn't quite do what it's supposed to do in theory, right? And so we
Yeah,
tend to
I'm
sleepwalk.
neurodivergent, and it's
Yeah,
absolutely true. Absolutely true.
yeah, we have all our weird cognitive things, right? And so those of us that have sleep related stuff, right, and sleepwalk even into adulthood, and have sleep related issues around that, uh, tend to be something called somnambulists. And it means like we are really easy to put into hypnosis.
I'm
And
very
so,
easy. I couldn't
yeah,
believe it. I was shocked. But I
mhm,
was in a room and it was full of other students. One of my professors was trained. And the minute my eye was closed and he went into the kind of like the vocal cues and the way of speaking, my eyelids started fluttering.
yep.
And I was flabbergasted. I thought I would be so rigid and hard to do. And I was shocked. I could not believe it.
Well, you can go one way or the other. Like I thought I was going to be difficult to as well, but I ended up being really easy to. And yeah, Maeve, I don't know what that is. You're going to have to ask Finn. Finn brought that home at the end of the school year. They had like a free pile, and he was like, "I'm going to take all this stuff." So now I don't know what's in that pile, but we'll see.
That's a different
But
kind of expansion, Molly.
right, exactly. But yeah, so when I mean this will, I mean you probably, I don't want, if I ever sound, sometimes I sound like I'm teaching people things, but it's just
I
because I'm
love it.
intense and excited. And
I
so
love
I
it. I
say
do the same
things.
thing. I love it and I want it all.
Yeah, well, I say things like I know it and don't think you know it, right? And so people
Mm.
sometimes that are closer to me will be like, I already know, like maybe don't
Are you
teach me that.
talking
I'm like,
down to
no,
me?
it's a conversation. I'm just saying it like I'm dictating. um, but yeah, so that it's it's that whole thing where it's when I mean it's the fight or flight, right? It's whether you're fight or flight. Are you repressive or are you reactive? And so when when you protect yourself and by well, either your cognitive wiring is already there naturally, or depending on your dynamics in your life and your lived experience, it's like, okay, when I fight, I become a hard to hypnotize person, and somebody that is more prone to fawning or flight or like disassociation and escapism. That person, I say that we um, are more prone to being easily hypnotized because really what it is it's an overload of message units. That's it.
Yes.
That's what hypnosis is. And so I have noticed that. I mean, we do it on accident all the time to people, right? I'll see you. I'll see you tomorrow. Um,
Bye bye.
but it's that overload of message units. And so I'm gonna turn